everybody. Thank you once again for coming back to the Rad Movement YouTube. Or if you're coming and checking us out on the podcast on Anchor FM, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the things, all the places, all the stuff. It is a fun one for me today because I'm coming in completely blind with the always rad, the Chad. And he's got a lot of shit that he's been through recently that he really needs to share and get out. Yeah. So I'm kind of just going to enjoy listening to stories and discussing what pops up.
So the last half of what I'll talk about is pretty heavy, so I'll start off kind of light.
Okay.
Remember I told you about the dermatologist that I went to and how I had this whole thing I wanted to talk about?
Yeah, dude. I was on the road and I had a whole lot going on, and you texted me and I was like, fuck, dude, he's really on it about this. So.
Oh, yeah, I was pissed. So TMI, it's like a blood mole that I have. It's like that big and it's on the ball. So I was I wanted to go get it looked at. My doctor said, I'll send you to a dermatologist.
Okay.
So I went to the dermatologist, and I had what I thought that it was, which is, it's pretty common, and it's not bad. It just, you remove it, it's going to come back, so you just leave it alone.
So it's just a thing.
Yeah. So I went there, and when I get there, I'm in the waiting room. It looks pretty nice. I won't say it because I don't want to slander anybody.
Right, I feel you.
So I go into the bathroom, and when I open the door, I turn on the light, a roach crawls out from the toilet paper dispenser. That's the first thing that I see. And, it's Florida. I get it.
Right. And that's the first thing I thought. Yeah. I was like, okay, everybody in Florida kind of gets a one.
Yeah.
Because these bugs be everywhere.
Then I turned to wash my hands, and one crawls out from underneath the sink. And I was like, I'm less okay with two of them in the same room within 10 seconds of being in the bathroom. Trying
to make excuses, but still...
Yeah.
Still uncomfortable.
Yeah. So I get back there, and I have somebody in training, the nurse practitioner. They all, they talk to me, whatever, and they're like, get undressed from the bottoms below. Okay. So I'm sitting there with butcher paper over the top of me, sitting on the table, and this old lady walks in, and they're people, and I'm like, oh, well, this is awkward. And then just turn around and walk away. So you didn't need to be in here, you just heard balls and wanted to come see what was on the balls?
So you said, well, this is awkward?
Yeah, and then just left.
Not even like, oh yeah, sorry man, should have asked you.
Just, bye. Okay.
Cool.
So the old lady dermatologist, super bitchy. She goes, what's the problem? Well, this is what I think I have. How do you know that's what you have? I don't know that's what I have. That's what I said. I think that's what I have. I'm giving you a jumping off point. Let me see it. And I show it to her, and she's just sitting there looking at it. I was like, that's kind of what I thought it was. I have OCD. I picked at it. She goes, well, I was going to ask you that, but you interrupted me.
My apologies.
Am I not supposed to tell you these things
before
you start giving me, And then she's like, okay, well, that's what it is, and it's exactly what I thought it was. And so you're sitting here bitching at me for guessing what I thought it was, and I turned out to be right.
Right, and it's usually not the case. Usually it's like, no, man, you don't have cancer, you're fine. Yeah. You were like, no, check it out, I'm fine. Just this.
Yeah.
Weird, okay.
And so I was like, is there anything, I can, put on to make it better, or just, cut it off, or just don't touch it? Okay. And then I go to the desk, and $80. $80 for this whole fucking experience. And it's like, I have insurance. Just bill my HSA. Oh, they didn't get your insurance card. Here it is again.
God bless.
And then they billed the insurance $120. Like, I could have just paid you $80 and not saved $60.
Yeah.
Not 60, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
40.
And that's the shitty part about the healthcare system. There's accountability to some people.
And working on the insurance side, I see that. It's like, you go to get the same procedure at the same place. Depending on your insurance, either you pay more, pay less, or if you don't pay with any insurance, pay less than what you would have paid anyway.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird.
Yeah, when I went to see my therapist, I think I saved $5 by using insurance.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Shit. So, was there any more negative notches in the post for the dermatologist?
I was out and I was done.
And no need for follow-up.
No need for follow-up. She's just like, oh, if you have anything else, just come back. Like, I might have had other questions, but it's such a unpleasant experience. I'm just done.
So, like, what did that do in your OCD brain?
Oh, my OCD brain. When I looked it up, I was like, okay, and I pick things because the OCD is, when I pulled this thing out, she's like, I see it, I don't like it, so rip it out. And then I figured, okay, I'll just put a tissue on top. You cut yourself shaving, so I put a tissue on top. Well, that fucker bled. Like, I went to the bathroom later on that day, I pulled the pants down, just straight up blood all over the boxer briefs. It's like, I didn't even feel any of that, and I just bled everywhere.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. So, like, once you were in the place, and the lady and the people and the things, was that like a triggering moment for you for the OCD?
It wasn't a triggering moment.
Or was it just like...
It was just unpleasant.
Okay.
all around.
Kind of like when a chick goes in to get a tattoo on her arm and they're like, take your pants off.
Yeah.
Which is like a weird thing that still to this day sometimes happens in weird, gross places. If your tattooer ever asks you to take off more clothing than necessary, don't. If you don't feel comfortable, get out. You're good to go.
It's like that Jerry Seinfeld bit. No matter what you go to the doctor for, okay, take your pants off. Yeah, it was just awkward. Like random people walking in that didn't need to be there, obviously, because they just left.
And so, what was the second person in there for? Was that like the doctor's scribe or some shit like that?
Somebody has to be in there to be a witness in case you claim, oh, they touched me inappropriately. Which I get that. I mean, they didn't say that, but I knew that already.
Right. So then there was another part of this that you wanted to get into.
Yeah, the whole pandemic, which everybody that hasn't experienced it personally, they think to themselves, okay, it's not going to happen to me.
Right.
That's just human nature. You see everybody's getting cancer. It's not going to happen to me until it does.
Yeah, absolutely.
The first thing that happened was me and Cora were at my mom's house not that long ago, like 2 weeks ago. From the point of contact I'm talking about, it was a while ago. From this point, it was 2 weeks ago when I got this text saying, oh, Lance has, just so you know, Lance has been diagnosed with COVID. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, well, that kind of sucks, but we haven't seen you in about 2 weeks, so it should be okay. And then my mom got it. And at first, it was just like, she was bedridden, what you typically see of like the harsher cases, which is like you're all achy, you can't get up. And then Cora got diagnosed with it, which that was weird because like I only took her because she had a fever one day where her fever got up like 99.2 or something, and she had a slight cough. And I was like, okay, I got that text. Let's just go get you tested to knock it out. Not thinking it was gonna come back positive. Came back positive, which is scary shit, especially with nowadays when you see all the news shit where children's hospitals are filling up. And there's one in Texas that's saying your kid isn't going to get a spot unless a kid dies or a kid leaves.
Damn.
And it's
so that's weird to think about.
Yeah. Like I saw the test and like they came out positive. I'm like, fuck, what do I do? I called our pediatrician. They didn't call me back till the next day. And they were just like, okay, well, monitor her for these symptoms. And if that happens, go to the ER. So, I mean, we had her sleeping in our room so I could monitor her temperature at night. Check her head, check her temperature, check her. I have like an O2 meter. Check that. But no, she was fine throughout the whole thing. Like she had the fever that one day and then fine.
Yeah, I remember you texted me. You were like, "It's weird. She doesn't even seem like she's sick at all."
But I'm sitting there trying to work and she's running around in the background.
It's wild, man.
But my mom got it real bad. Her O2 got real low. And my sister had been trying to get her to go to the hospital. But when she told her like her O2 was at 70 something, my sister was finally like, you have to go. 70 is like not breathing at all. It's no oxygen. So she went. She was admitted. Well, the first time she went, she wasn't admitted. They gave her like steroids and sent her home. Then the breathing got real bad again, so she went back and then they admitted her into the hospital. And for a while it seemed like she wasn't great, but it wasn't like terrible.
Right.
Like a week ago, she asked me to bring her like some books. So I brought her some books, like some activity books, adult coloring books. I brought her like she burns through books. I brought her The Outsider, one of my favorite Stephen King books.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to keep anything like death related out of there because she was real panicky. Like her OCD isn't like my sister's or mine. Is like not as bad until something's happening.
Okay.
So like, she would get up to go to the bathroom or something, lose her breath, panic.
Oh fuck.
And then they'd have to like put her back down, and she was mentally she wasn't doing great. So she was like, "Give me some books, and some activity books." I brought everything back. Tried to keep anything like that had a lot of death or gore out of that pile.
Yeah.
It's like say, okay, here's some books. They'll keep you entertained. I tried to keep anything too bad out of there that's going to keep your mind off of death. But then like 2 days later, my sister called me and she was crying and she said that she coded, which they didn't have to do CPR, and they got her stable. And then later on, it was either later on that day or the next day where she coded again, and they had to intubate her. So they put her on a ventilator in the ICU, and she was on like 100% oxygen. Which, if you're in the medical community, you know that's a lot of O2. They're pumping everything they can into you. The doctor had called, the critical doctor. My sister's pretty much running point on all of this. I'm getting the updates as they come.
Mm-hmm.
But she works for Health First, and she's real close to my mom, so that's fine.
It worked out great.
Just let me know. And obviously, we can't go visit her. So the critical care doctor calls my sister and says, her lungs collapsed, which is common. Oh. So he's like, he was actually fixing that when Carolyn called him back. And one of the doctors that she works with went and saw her, and he said, you guys would need a miracle. His words, you need a miracle. And the first ICU nurse that talked to my sister, she was saying, do people usually come off the ventilators that go on? Because I'm going to be honest with you, no. So it's been uphill a little bit since then. And that's the day when I texted you, like, I'm just sitting in the hospital parking lot because I can't go inside and visit her.
Yeah, that's what you were saying.
So I'm just sitting in the parking lot to be close. It's the only thing I can think to do. I was sitting there playing, I played one song, and it was a song that I had put on a mix CD for her years ago for like Mother's Day or her birthday, something like that. And she really loved the song. So I thought of that song, and I found it, and I put it on my YouTube music, and I was just sitting there playing that, bawling my eyes out in the fucking parking lot.
Yeah, I know that feeling. I listened to a lot of Buena Vista Social Club when my dad was passing, and it was like shit he really loved. And, oh man, it tugs your heartstrings.
And listening to it, it's just such a bad song to listen to right now.
Right.
And it's like
it's the only thing you want.
POD's Thinking About Forever, from their like Satellite album years and years ago, and it's a song from his perspective about like teaching his daughter about his mom who had passed away. This is such a terrible song to fucking listen to, but it has meaning.
Right, so you're like, I hate this. This is so perfect. Oh man.
But I mean, since then, like today's update was like they've got her down to 50% oxygen,
right?
Less pressure in the ventilator. She's not on her stomach anymore, but she's retaining the oxygen, moving side to side. They're talking about like lowering her sedation. So we'll see. He says we're not out of the woods yet, but she's going in the right direction.
Cool.
So for a while there, it was like Cora knows that she's sick and that she's in the hospital. Like we drive by the hospital, wave, Grandma's in there.
Okay.
Like I don't know how to express to her the severity of the situation. Cause I don't think she would grasp it.
Right.
It's like she loved my mom. It's like anything ever, if it went south, I don't know how I would tell her.
With as much grace and poise as you could, you know? Like, it's hard. And she's how old?
She's 6. She understands the concept of death. Like, we go up to see my papa's memorial thing. He cremated, but they have his ashes in, like, one of those big things at like, the memorial park. Him and my butt. So we'll go up there every once in a while. And she'll just go, why are you talking to nobody? Well, just they're in there. They're just not there. But she understands the concept of death. That's just I don't think that she would take it very well if that were to happen.
That sucks.
Yeah.
And and regardless of how well she takes it, she's gonna make it through it.
Yeah.
But it's just like really hard when you have to
think about those things.
Prepare yourself for your child's emotions, because that's like.
Because you can barely handle your own emotions.
Dude, yeah, for real. Like, my son's 20, and I still go through that. Like, we talked on the phone for 2 hours today, just because I guess he just needed to talk, and he just decided to call me. And it was like, man, we've gone through a lot in the past, couple weeks since he's been here. So, yeah, I know what you mean. I went through a lot of explaining things to him with his mom when, she went through a really rough patch in her life, like, she's in jail because she did bad things, like lots of drugs and stuff. So it's like, fuck. Yeah, so it's hard for them to like grasp, like you said. Yeah. But they figure it out. They learn from it. They grow. They progress. But it's hard for us, man.
Yeah. I mean, knock on wood. It's not wood,
but yeah, knocking on the things.
She's moving in the right direction, so we just play it by ear at this point.
Yeah. Well, are you familiar with James Vaughn?
Mm-hmm.
He was on, I think, the first season of Master.
Yeah, he like the cool Japanese stuff.
Yeah. Actually, that's one of his prints right there.
Yeah.
So he just is getting out of the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
He was on a ventilator. It looked like he wasn't going to make it, and then just kept coming back. He had like liver problems and stuff. They figured his shit out, and he's coming back. So my only reference point right now is, hey, it can work.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got to be a really scary situation, especially out of nowhere. Like when my dad passed, we knew for a while that he was sick and he was declining, and just the problems kept piling. So you could kind of prepare for it. This was
got COVID, and then it seemed like it was doing all right, and then it got bad. Then it seemed like it was steadying out, and then it got worse.
And now here we are.
Yeah.
So now we're at worse?
No, now we're on the right path.
Okay. All right, cool. I thought that's where we were, and then you said, and then it got worse, and I was like, wait a second, I thought we're out of worse. Shit.
I mean, like hospital admittance, and then steadying out, and then it got worse because she had to be intubated and all that.
Right. Yeah. That's the rough parts.
Yeah. In the right direction. I mean, the small improvements is all you can really hope for.
Yeah, man. It's weird. It's like how you say, you never think it'll happen to you. Nobody ever thinks that the things that are going to happen to him are going to happen to him. It's like you said, human nature. Yeah. Part of it's optimism, like that mental protection by pretending it won't happen. But like when it does happen, it's weird because like you feel it, but you don't. Like you think it's gonna feel a lot different than it does, and then it feels this whole other way, and like you learn these whole other things, and it's like, what the fuck? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like, it was a domino effect too. Like her boyfriend got it, she got it, my brother-in-law got it, Cora got it.
You got it?
I didn't.
Oh, okay, Cora.
I got the vaccine, and to me, it speaks to how effective the vaccine is. I mean, whatever your opinions are, listening to this.
Right, yeah, we're not getting political.
Personal opinion. To me, it speaks to the effectiveness of it, because Cora's in our faces all the time. Drinks after us, no matter what. And then every time that she got tested, we got tested. We kept testing negative while she tested positive.
No shit. Wow. Yeah, my stance on the vaccine personally is I have immune system issues, and it worries me. I feel like there's a gamble either way. My friends that are vaccinated, great. Like my friends that aren't, okay. I hope you have your reasons. It's a very weird time, but it's good to speak on the effectiveness of it, and to see that it did. It was worth the investment of moving forward with it. So
the second shot made me achy for a day. That's all I really felt from it.
And then that was weird that Cora didn't even really seem like she was sick.
What's crazy is like a month and a half before she got diagnosed, we were at Disney the day they got rid of the mask mandate.
Really?
Yeah. So we were walking around, thousands of people. We didn't have our masks on because we're vaccinated. They didn't have their masks on. Nobody. how's Disney going to verify if you were vaccinated? It's like thousands of people walking around with masks.
Right.
Nothing. Nobody got anything. Coming down here and randomly positive for her. Like a month or so later.
That's wild. Yeah, it's weird. I just heard that Hawaii is getting closed down. The bits of it are getting like they're doing.
New Zealand just shut the whole thing down because of one case.
Wow.
Because they had no cases for a long time, and then they randomly had one pop up, so they shut everything down.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, Hawaii is doing a curfew, but they're still allowing tourism to come in.
That's their money.
It's interesting, man. It's interesting. Yeah. On the subject of COVID, I was looking through my books yesterday, and I found a book called the COVID collaboration that a tattooer made. He gathered a bunch of tattooers, and like we all submitted art for the book. So that's a weird thing to look back on and like think about the time that I was making that art. You know, like that was like pre-prosthetic, so I was just sitting there with one fucking nubby leg, fucking painting, getting frustrated at painting. Yeah, so what a weird few years it's been, because we opened the shop during COVID. You know, like right after the shutdowns lifted, we opened Rad Inc., and that was a little over a year ago now. Fucking
yeah, it's like right when we moved down here.
Yeah, dude, like so much has happened in such an odd period of time. Like, I remember being in this room doing an Ink Mag YouTube video during COVID, because that's how they were doing it that time. They were just Zoom interviewing everybody. That was a cool time, and that was weird.
Kelly had like the worst connection. Hers would always fuck
up. Yeah, dude. So it's been wild, and you know, I've seen some friends die because of COVID. I had a friend who got the vaccination, and he has really bad tinnitus in his ears, which is ringing in his ears, and it made it a whole lot worse because his compromised immune system. I've heard countless arguments from one side to the next. So much mindless arguing.
I think my best comparison, I don't know if that's the right word, analogy for getting the vaccination. It's like, say your body is a secure building. You're giving the security guards a mugshot of who not to let in. They can still get in, but they're better prepared for him when he gets in, if he gets in.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah, I can dig it, man. So we need to do a follow-up on your mom.
Oh, yeah, initially they had said that when she first got put on the ventilator, he said that we have to, it's going to take 2 to 3 weeks, and either she's going to get better or she's not.
And how long ago was that?
It was about a week ago. She's doing better than she was.
Well, I'm in town for the next couple weeks, I think. No conventions, so let's try and get together again next week.
Yeah.
If we have an update.
And I give you the random ones. Like,
absolutely.
The ones that stand out are the ones that I usually send you. Otherwise, I'd be texting twice a day.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then I remember when my dad was sick and he was passing, it was just a lot of minor stuff, and then the events happened, But yeah, it's a weird time losing people, losing your parents, possibly not.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, hopefully not. Yeah, it's such a weird time to think about and to deal with and whatnot. So if you guys are going through anything like this, you ain't alone. You ain't alone at all, and that's why I was like stoked that you wanted to like let some of this out on here, because like it's rough, man.
It's spreading like wildfire here. My dad was saying that in his department where he works, they usually have 15 people, and they're down to 3 because everybody else got COVID.
And then, so on top of that, now people are getting paid unemployment better than they're getting paid at work. So a lot of people aren't working.
Yeah.
So that's even so. Like you're the workforce is down in so many ways. And it's such a weird thing. It's
that we moved all this way up and then just set all the way back to the beginning.
Yeah. It's like when you're like trying to balance on something and like you're wobbling real hard and then like straighten out and you're cool and you're like fuck you. It's so squirrely. it's gonna be weird. Like if we get to look back at the history books talking about these moments, you know, like, but like it's odd being in a moment that is gonna be in the history books.
Oh yeah,
everywhere, like worldwide.
It's like how we look at, like, what was it, the Spanish flu or whatever went around, the whole pandemic or whatever,
or the Black Plague.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like
the future generations are gonna look back at this as they did with that.
Yeah. Oh, so many people die and so much this, so much that. You know, poverty. Fucking.
We have the same issues because they were anti-maskers and anti-whatever back then too, and that history repeats itself.
You know, it's it's funny because that's true. You know, like everything in the world is like the snake eating itself. You know, it's just a cyclical thing. But
as much as we progress technologically, we stay the same pretty much.
Right. It's weird. I love the show The 300. No, The 100. That's what it was. No. It was wild because it was basically just humans fucking up over and over and over and over again, and like happy ending. But God, they made it look like it wasn't gonna be happy so many times, and it was like so many times I'm watching the TV and I'm like, humans are so stupid, and it's just so weird to see it all, you know. And we're brilliant and we're wonderful and we're great, but like, it doesn't matter what we have, what technology, what you know, advancements. We're gonna come from nothing and then we're gonna fuck it up all on our own. It seems, which is very odd.
Yeah, the news and the media make it seem like we're fucking up worse than we are.
True.
It's what sells. It's what people watch.
Which is part of the big fuck up.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that that's being fed to us. You know? But you know, like I said, I don't want to get too political.
I do like what Patton Oswalt said after the Boston Marathon. He says there's always going to be darkness, but in that darkness you see people running toward, you know, danger to help people.
Right. That's true. There is a lot of banding together. That was one of the things I think that I took most from 9/11. So many people came together, and then so many people were saying afterwards, why did it take this?
Yeah.
You know, and here we are again. But like with my leg stuff, so many people came together. People I didn't know, people I didn't think liked me. You know, fucking like so many people came together to help me figure my life out. And that was just like one little old me. You know what I'm saying? So like to see like the whole global consciousness coming together more so than not, you know, and trying to make it all better for the sake of everyone. Yeah. Like that's pretty cool to see.
Like people that I usually wouldn't like, you know, get along with too odd. I tell people at work, and I tell friends and stuff about what's going on with my mom. And they're like, "Oh, can we do anything?
Right.
Even if we can do like just like a food training." I'm good. I like to cook. That's how I zone out.
But it's nice to know that people care.
Like, I truly appreciate it.
Yeah.
All you can do is like, I guess, keep her in your thoughts and, you know, send good vibes if you're religious, pray.
And that was where I was talking about. It feels weird, and it feels the same. Because you're like,
it's not happening to me. Don't give me the food. I can't.
I'm still living, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. But
yeah, it's weird, and it's a beautiful and it's an odd thing about humans that like we care so much. But mostly when the chips are down, because otherwise we're too busy focusing on us.
No.
It takes like that smack to jar you into thinking about, you know, something else a lot of the time, which is
it's the whole
interesting.
For me, the hard part was staying strong. Because like my sister called me like the day that she got intubated and everything, called me breaking down and like crying and everything, and I'm sitting there myself trying trying to stay, you know, calm and strong so that I don't also do it and make hers worse.
Right.
And then being around Cora, trying not to break down, let her see that. So just trying to keep up the face, and then I get to that parking lot and just bawl my eyes out.
And you know what, man? Sometimes your soul needs watering, so you got to have a good cry. And it's hard to accept in the roles that we've been playing in society, but you know, it's getting easier as we evolve as humans. And the older we get, dude, I love talking to dudes older than me because they're like, don't worry, it'll just keep getting better. You know, you'll get more patient, you'll mellow down more, you'll be fine. And it's weird, the layers of life, you know, and all the things that we have to go through and fight through and get through to get to the next step. just to fucking get to the next step and take another.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, that's pretty much what I want to talk about. Cause before it affected me, I was like, it's not going to affect me. Yeah.
Right.
It'll affect everybody around me, but it's not going to affect me.
Right.
Until everybody, pretty much everybody that I'm close to, was affected by it.
Right. Fuck. Whew. And you're doing fine.
Doing fine now. Especially since she's on the right path.
Right.
Not out of the woods yet, but she's on the right trail out.
So, to the people, if you're the religious type, throw some prayers down. If you're the spiritual type, throw some good vibes out. If you're just the kind type, offer some good thoughts and love. It was really cool watching all of that happen on the internet with James Vaughn, because his wife was keeping people in the know, and the people he works with are keeping people in the know, and they just kept asking for good vibes and prayers and good stuff. So I believe in energy, and I believe that putting enough positive energy into something can really make the turnaround that doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
So guys, please, if you will, thank you. It'd be rad.
I appreciate it myself.
Yeah, and send some to Chad because he needs some too. Well, brother, I fucking love you. I know this probably wasn't the easiest for you to just spill, but
I'd come in expecting to bawl my eyes out, but I retained myself.
It's weird when that happens.
Yeah.
It was funny when I did the leg video for Ink Mag. I forgot how much I cried during that. Holy shit, that was hard to watch. I've only watched it once.
It's hard to watch yourself, especially going through something like that.
Yeah. But seriously, I'm proud of you. It's not easy to be vulnerable. For me, it's the only way I know how to be. But I know it's not the easiest thing to do. It can get uncomfortable. So, fuck yeah, man. All right, well, guys. As per usual, we're rad, and so are you. Have a great fucking day.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Tell your friends. The Rad Movement, Rad Thinks on Anchor FM and all the streaming podcast platforms. Rad Inc. Florida on the social media for all your Florida tattoo needs. And we travel a lot too. So you might want to check us out in a city near you. Rad Paranormal, because that is Chad's paranormal group.
We have Walking Ghost tours happening downtown Melbourne starting next month. Going full bore here in October.
Awesome.
I'm in talks with a local restaurant down there to start a dinner and a ghost, and we've been asked to do a Halloween event at a different location as well.
Slick. I like that. Hell yeah. So these are all the things we have going on. So please be a part of them. Thank you guys very much. We love y'all. Always appreciate you being here. See you next time.